because you're a high performance coach, right?
Yeah,
and you help high performance. And when, like, how do you find that balance, like where you're just getting over like being sick? How do you know when to push and when to rest?
You don't, man.
What, you don't rest, or you don't know, like?
No, I had this question from a couple of clients the other week in one of our weekly calls, and it was, how do I know what's too much? I was like, go and find out. Go and find out what too much is. And I feel like in society now, a lot of people are so adverse to taking like risks. There's always this dumb way of doing things, and it's like the blind leading the blind, and I'm like, you're going to do things sometimes and make mistakes, but people are like, see when you're a fitness guy like me, right? See when you do something like this, right? People are like, take care of yourself. And you're like, you never say anything to me all the time, but as soon as I'm doing something that slightly goes against the grain of what everyone else does, you're like, be careful. That's probably because you do all this, and that's probably because you exercise so much. And you're like, no, it's not. I'm very, very healthy. But yeah, I operate at a high threshold. But the thing that people forget when you operate at a high threshold is if your low threshold is still pretty high. So to an average person, like if they're getting advice to rest up and do this, it's like me resting up when I'm quite high functioning is training less. So like I'm still trained, like I've still trained the last couple of days after being sick for 5 days there. Folk are like, oh, rest up. I'm like, I do usually train 12 hours a week. So like doing nothing isn't going to do anything for me. It's not going to do anything for me at all. So you need to really know yourself quite well. And sometimes you make mistakes with that, and then when you're getting back into the flow of things. But when you've got so many things on, you need to look at like your body like a bit of a power plant. And like you produce the energy, but you also give out the energy. And in weeks like this, like I'm totally, from a lot of experience, previously I would have probably tried to power through harder than I have done already. Through guilt, through needing to be further ahead than what I am, through needing to be the leading example. But now I'm just done it so many times that I'm like, a few days extra is not going to be the straw that broke the camel's back.
How do you know what the threshold is?
You get it through experience. So like me and Ailey were having a conversation right before this, and we were talking about running, right? Because that's what we do all the time. We run all the time. And when you get into this point in life, and this applies in business, when you're doing the work, it's only a matter of time. Everything's so like, if you're like, oh, I want to make £1 million, it's like, it's just time. Like if you keep doing the thing you're doing, keep evolving, you will eventually make more money. If same in like fitness, and like people like that with running, like there's these thresholds you break past. Like in running, it'll be like the sub 3 hour marathon, the sub 90 minute half marathon, the 20 minute 5k, and these are like what I would class as like mental thresholds. And then you get past them, then you're like, well, like I'll just keep going and do what I'm doing, and I'll get beyond that. So I think we place a lot of limitations on ourselves through our own mind of what you can and can't do, and there's like rules set there about how things need to be, and it's not until you kind of shatter those and then do that for a prolonged period of time, you realise your body's not made of glass, and it can actually withstand quite a lot. Like physical fortitude like teaches you a lot about like what your body's able to endure, and that's what we do. We do a lot of endurance training, so like all of our training is like to endure. And then you build a lot of robustness, you understand like your top and bottom, and then you just, like anything, the more time you do something, like the more skin in the game you get, the higher tolerance and threshold that you build.
I always think of David Goggins in like, is it You Can't Hurt Me? That book.
Can't Hurt Me,
And Can't Hurt Me. And I just go, oh my God, is he crazy? Like I'm all for pushing yourself, and I know that when it comes to pushing yourself, our limitation most of the time is our mindset, right? Rather than our body. And then I'm like, but where's the line? Because like he was essentially ending up in hospital, right? So how do you, what's the fine line of you going, okay, I'm pushing myself because I know that right now it's a mindset game and my body is more than capable in actually achieving this? Or, where is that end point?
I think you need to look at everyone like and look at the context of it. David Goggins has got a lot, if you've read his book and read his other book and you follow him, he's got a lot of mental trauma. He's running away from a lot of things, and he's dealing with things a certain way, and that's not good, bad, right or wrong. That's just how it is. So a lot of people, like, you need to look at like the unique situation of a person that makes that person the person and why they do what they do. So a lot of folk are looking for a very black and white answer, like how do you know here, or like how do they do this, and it's like that's their makeup. Like how can, like, we obviously both work with Darren, it's like he's a very special guy in the sense that like how he can operate in business and just do things. Sometimes I'm like, how, like I would have broke under that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, it's reps, but then there is some people that are outliers within the thing that they're doing because of their unique life experiences. So then to them, they can just tolerate a lot more than the average person.
Yeah.
So there is like, people will call it genetics. It's not genetics, it's like experience. So like whatever your experience is, like I was just keeping up with Ross Edgley. I don't know if you follow Ross Edgley. He was the first human to swim around the UK.
Oh, okay.
He swam around the UK, and he's actually just swam around Iceland. Right? Think about how brutal those seas are. Like the total exposure to like brutal oceans, freezing cold, like dangerous animals. But he wouldn't have been able to just go and do that. He had to swim around the UK first. Like he had to. He's done like world record swims. He swam 500 plus K down a river, like in the Yukon, 500K in one go without stopping.
Is this the guy that can sleep with he can sleep while he swims?
That's another guy. I seen him though, yeah. But these, yeah.
What do you mean? How is that possible?
I know,
like,
I seen it, man.
Just,
And the light in the water, it's crazy. But like, so these people, like, they didn't just get to that point, that they done like repetition, like huge thing that gave them the experience to do it. Because if you got like someone that was even like an Olympian swimmer that didn't have that kind of like endurance training, and you got them to do something like that, they wouldn't be able to handle it mentally. Not even like physically, they probably could, but it's like mentally they probably wouldn't be ready to withstand that. So like your unique experience in life of the things that you've been through is going to do that, like help you. Like my coach is Australian actually, and he's 5th in the world at High Rocks in the Elite 15, and he's ex-Australian Special Forces. So he's, if you look at him, he's not like the fastest. He's not like, if you look at like numbers even from like certain runs, because you have to be a really good runner in High Rocks, but actually he's got this grit. He can just keep going, and it's like, and he's actually an ex-addict as well. So ex-addict, Australian Special Forces, sporting background, the guy's just robust.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it's like your unique sort of, and then see when you've went past the certain, and I keep saying the word threshold, but like there is certain points that you can't go back. Like so see when people say like what's too much, so it's like if you've been someone that's operated at a certain level and it's like tickled your pickle, right, you can't go back. Like there's not like
it's a new level or it's a new baseline for you.
Exactly. So see when folk just say that, when are you just going to stop that, and you're like, what? Like it doesn't work like that. Like imagine just saying to someone that's an entrepreneur that's ran a business for years, like, when are you just going to go and work for someone else? You know what I mean? There's a threshold that's gone. Yeah, they might not be in that same pressure chamber that they're in. They might choose to pursue something else that's more of a passion project, but they're probably not going to go back to a 9 to 5, are they?
No.
So there is this sort of point where like you start to realise where you're like pushing your limits, that you're kind of like, oh, this is my life now.
Yeah.
Like.
Well, the goal is never the goal, right?
Yeah.
It's the journey of as well. Like even. It's like, if you climb a mountain or something like that, you don't get up there, and then you're like, okay, cool, I'm done. Or you read one book and you're like, I'm never going to read a book again. Like, it's just like, okay, cool. Like, what's the next thing for me? What's the next goal? Because now that you've got the habit of being that person, or the identity of being that person, what's the next thing for you to work towards? But it's the journey. It's like not the actual end point, is it?
100%. You have to, it's as cliche as it sounds, you need to fall in love with the process, man. It's always about the person you become. You are someone that does value health and fitness, and you have like High Rocks, and are you doing marathons? Like next year, I feel like is just race after race after race, right? Talk me through what you have planned for next year from a performance perspective. So I've just applied for one of the hardest triathlons in the world. It's called the Norseman. It's in Norway, and it's an extreme triathlon. So I've done a couple of Ironman now, and I'm not even a triathlete. I just like the challenge that comes with that. So like I taught myself to swim when I first signed up to my first Ironman in 2020. And so I've got that next year. I've still not been accepted yet. It's like gets a lot of applicants. So I've got that. So that's kind of like everything's kind of balancing on that. It's on the 1st of August. And then that's my main sort of what you call an A event. So that's like that'll be the big focal point. And then me and my fiance are doing the Vienna Marathon, which is on the 19th of April. And then that's going to be the goal there. So I wanted to try and get sub 2:55. That's the goal. I've never went sub 3. My plan was to go sub 3 this year, which I believed I was fit for. and then I got a stress fracture, but I believe I'm fitter now because I kept pushing my training on the bike and stuff as well. So I believe that, like, even though I never hit that goal this year, because it's next April, I think I could do that. So that's my main goals right now. And then, like, if there's other events that pop up, like if there's stuff here, or we might do a High Rocks or whatever, but for us right now, like traveling, like me being so busy, I've had to kind of like really shift a lot with my own identity. Like, 'cause I was really like, before we went traveling, I was very, very like super locked in with certain goals. Like I wanted to really, really go to a high level of High Rocks. And then the more we travelled, the more it affected my routine. And you probably see from the outside in, you're like, oh, you've got a really good routine. I do, but like, see, to be really, really good at like these sports that are really growing fast, like you need to be like inches. So it's like, for me, I was like, if I had like a free ladder rung of the importance, High Rocks was at the top, then it was running, then it was lifting. And I've just changed it. It's more like running, lifting, High Rocks. And I've kind of, like, this year, probably lost a bit of love for it because of just a lot of fatigue I've been under, and I've just realised I can't recover as well if I'm travelling a lot. We've been to 9 countries this year.
Yeah, wow.
So it's a lot on the body as well. And then we've grown our business, and I've got me, Ailey and Carly are all full-time, and then we've got a team in the background, and we've got 47 clients right now that we are very, very attentive with, and it's like a lot. And then I'm YouTubing, and then I'm podcasting, and I'm like
doing all the things.
Yeah, and doing all these things, and I'm like, man, I need to just like, what hat am I wearing now? Like, whereas before it was like I was really pushing the everyday athlete, and now I'm like, no, I'm the high performance CEO. Like that's like the sort of, I had to shift my hat a little bit and be like, right, because I know that sounds like, well, you're still doing the same thing. I'm like, yes, I am, but like the difference was I was really chasing down like high level.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, I want to compete. I don't want to just participate. I want to do really well, but I don't want to like see what it takes to be the best.
Yeah.
It's a different ball game. Like, so you have to kind of like, I've had to go through that a lot, bruise my ego a lot, man, because I didn't choose to do it. But then I realized I was like, I'm juggling a lot here, and I'm not getting the best of me in all the areas I want to be the best in. So that was a big shift for me this year.
How do you cope with that, as you said, identity shift as well, especially if you've got your mindset on a particular goal that you want to achieve and it might not go according to plan or work out the way that you want to? How do you then adjust and let go of that rather than feeling, as you said, ego or guilt or shame or what like other emotions come attached to the outcome? Yeah,
so I had to do that a lot this year. So I got a stress fracture in my leg at the start of the year, and my entire year, all my goals, everything that I was aiming towards just got kind of kicked away from underneath me. And it was tough, like, and I stayed focused at the beginning, and then there was a point where we went to America in April for like 2 weeks, and we were in hotels and stuff. We took a little bit of a break, and I was really struggling to walk around that point as well because my ankle was pretty bad. And I really, for the first time in a good couple of years, like I lost a lot of motivation. Like, and I know that's very cliche to say that, but I just felt like I was a bit lost within myself. And around that same time, I just really started to just be like, what is it that I actually value? What is it that I value? What's the things that are actually important to me? And at the start of the year, really just kind of went back, and I was like, I need to not look at it as like outcome, because like the hard thing is like I'm all about the process, but at the end of the day, when you're setting big audacious goals, you want to hit those targets, you want to do those things, and if you're in like, this was like consistently not hitting them, like just everything kind of kicked away from underneath you. And I was like, well, one of the biggest things I value is progress. So it's like, a shift for me is like, how can I continually make progress being the role model that I want to set out to be in my life, as a fiance, as a role model, as a coach, as the founder of Ready for Anything. And I've just kind of looked at it that way, because we've got so many clients that are like, we've got like obviously a couple of tiers, but we've got clients that are doing incredibly well. Like we can help folk reach like really high level peak performance if they want. Like, but we've also got folk as well that are just super busy and they just want to get in much better shape and perform better. Like, I love helping anyone. If you come in and you're a high performer, exec, CEO, entrepreneur, we'll help you. You don't have to have the same goals as me. But that's why we create Pro, because it's then like, right, for the folk that want to go that extra mile when it comes to like their performance. And there was a point last year where I was going through and I was like, man, there's folk getting fitter than me. Like, there's folk running runs faster than me, and then I had to realise, I was like, they're not coming to me for training. Just training. I'm not just a training coach. Like, I'm a health and life coach to helping folk in physical and mental performance, like to show them how to do it. And then I'm like, well, actually, I need to focus on progress, because if I can do that, it blows people away from the outside in. Like, how is he doing that? Like, how is he still training like this? How is he still operating like this? How is he still living in different countries? And that's the thing that I've really kind of tied into, to like, for me, it's like I base my success on like, am I nailing my values? Like, my values are like, I like having a laugh.
Yeah.
I like connection. I love having conversations like this.
Yeah.
I value progress. I value discipline. And it's like, right, okay, well, how can I embody that every day? So then at the start of the year, like, I was like, right, when I go away traveling, I'm going to do the same thing every morning. I do the same thing every morning, and I have done for the entire year. Like, we're on the 10th month of the year, and all these different countries, I just do the same thing every morning.
What do you do every morning?
So I wake up every single morning, I roll out of bed, I make my bed, I do 30 push-ups as soon as I'm out of bed, and then I literally go have a shower, get ready, go and pour my coffee, my electrolytes, do my journal, read my book. That's my day.
Yeah,
do
right.
Every single
Sets you
morning.
up.
It just sets me up.
Yeah.
Takes about 40 minutes. That's it. And then I do it, and it's so simple, it's so frictionless. And it's just these simple things that you do, and it's like, it gives you conviction in who you are, because I lost a lot of confidence when I got that stress fracture in my leg, and I was like, my confidence can't keep relying on my physical ability. Yeah. And it hasn't always been like that, but just definitely in the last year and a bit, it started to get more like that, like, because that's like a big part of who you are. Yeah. And then I'm like, I can't do that. So yeah, and then now I'm in this sort of point right now where I'm like, I'm questioning things more. Like, I feel like I've got a bit softer. Yeah. Like, which is like, I'm not like, even when I was going to Norseman, I was questioning, should I be doing that? Is that taking away from things? I'm like, then I zoomed out and I was like, this is my life. What do you want? I went to Norseman, it's been a pipe dream of mine for years. I don't fucking care if it affects my business. Yeah. I don't care. Like at the end of the day, I'm 31 years old now. I'm 32 next month. I was like, when am I planning on doing it? Like, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it now. Yeah. And it's like, everyone's sometimes so adverse of like, and what about this and what about that? And you're like, what do you want? Yeah. What do you actually want? And then that's what a lot of people don't do. Yeah, well, as you said, it comes back to your personal values. Now you're living in alignment every single day through those values. Yeah. What are your goals? What's your end goal? Because if you don't have any goals, then every day you're just working around and you then fall into like the normality of life, or what society standards actually are placed on you, right? And then you kind of show up to your 9 to 5 and say, I'm kind of going through the motions of life. Yeah. So if you have no direction, if you don't know what your values are, then that's, going to show up as well. Definitely. Yeah. Do you think that there is a correlation between being a high performer in fitness and in health to then the success of your business? So if someone's successful within their health, they could be successful within their business? Because a lot of people have, they say that your business card is how you show up and how you present, right? Yeah. So people see you physically, whether that's right or wrong or judgmental or not, like, it's up to the individual, right? But so if you're a CEO, an executive, a professional in whatever your field is, do you feel like that's then correlation how well they take care of themselves and being self-led to then be in peak performance? 100%. Yeah. And a lot of people will probably disagree with it, because they'll say, well, I've done not bad, look at me, and I've not really ever valued my health and my fitness. And I'm like, you're looking at it wrong. Yeah. Imagine you did though. Yeah. Imagine where you would be if you did, and that's the difference. Yeah. And I'm not saying that you need to be a goddess or a god and built like an absolute amazingly, and but by you not actually showing up for yourself, you need to really sit with that for a second and actually start to go into it. And this is where I get into people's heads and actually start getting them to think for a second. So if someone's not showing up for themselves, or they're not doing things, or they're even resistant, it doesn't just stop at that. That mentality is going to go into so many other parts of their life, and they do not even realise. If that is your mentality there, what's it going to be like around your eating behaviours? What's it going to be like about the way that you manage your emotions? It's not just the training or going to the gym, it's the mentality that you're beginning to adopt. It's this no mentality, this resistance. It's a victim mindset, and that's what it is. It's someone actually being like, no, you don't need to do that. No one's saying that you need to do it, but you should want to do it, because you actually learning how to manage yourself better fitness is a gateway drug. It's the gateway drug to personal development. Like if you like train and see progress within yourself, I can guarantee it, you start applying that in other areas, you'll be a nicer person to be around, because you could be a CEO or executive that's absolutely crushing it. You've got a lot of money in the bank, you've climbed a ladder, but you might be a prick.
Yeah.
Not very nice to be around because you're so agitated and you're like it's poking a bear. You know what I mean? Like, and you're just like, the team don't even like you that you're with, but at the end of the day, you're very talented at what you do, and it's why you've achieved the success. Like, you have this way with words, you have this deep understanding of this thing that people just don't have. There is skills that this person may have that's allowed them to be at that point. There is no denying that, but there's a lot of things that they are missing out of as a result of having this mentality where they are resistant. Like, people won't respect them as much. That's just a fact.
Yeah.
It's just a fact. Like, people will say, like, oh yeah, like, now I've got lots of respect. I'm like, see if I walked into a room and there's like one person that's like carrying themselves a bit differently, they're speaking well, who's going to listen to, like, who's going to be attracted to them in the room?
Yeah.
People are just going to be immediately like, whoa,
Yeah.
this person's got like a presence, like physically and mentally.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying there's people that are, do you know what I mean? Like, if you look at great minds of the 21st century, look at Stephen Hawking's in a wheelchair and a guy can't move. It like changed like so much from like an actual, like, that's a brain that's so powerful. Look at Elon Musk. But like, Joe Bloggs isn't Elon Musk. Do you know what I mean? Like, people go on and it's like, oh, but this person, I'm like, don't compare yourself to that person. That person's one of the greatest minds of the 21st century.
Yeah.
Like, they had to compromise their physical because they physically do not have enough time, but they're one in a million. Do you know what I mean? And a lot of people are comparing themselves against things. It's like, but that's not you. And a lot of people don't see that if they're not showing up for themselves, they're leaving a lot on the table.
Yeah. It's like, how you do one thing is how you do everything, right? Yeah. And it's something, I'll be honest, like, you know, with me as well, is building the discipline around it all. And sometimes you go through seasons of life and, you know, you might have different priorities and different times and things like that. And it's like, how do you actually know, okay, what are your values and are you prioritizing those every single day? And without health or without fitness, then you don't have anything else, do you?
Yeah.
It's like everything else has a bit of a dominoes effect through that.
Yeah. And this is all the work that we do inside of our program.
Yeah.
Like, we're teaching people like the deep work alongside, and like, it's actually, some people just make it about training. It's the beginning of the end.
Yeah.
Like, see, when they just talk about training, sometimes I'll say to people, like, stop talking about training.
Yeah.
Like, stop making this about training. Like, you're getting too one-dimensional.
Yeah.
You need to start actually digging a bit deeper, doing the deep work. That's why we run like weekly calls. It's why we've got like coursework for people to go through as well, because it's a personal development program. Like, training's just like one part of it. Training's like 10% of it.
Yeah.
And a lot of people just don't get that. But I don't believe, and this is my opinion, that you can personally develop without training. Like, and that doesn't need to be training exactly like that, dude. That's moving your body, exercising, and then going back to the point as well, because I think this is, a lot of people can get resistant about when maybe like a coach or a health and performance coach is talking about like where you need to be or what you need to be doing. I don't care about where anyone's at. I just care that they're taking action. Yeah. So this could be someone that's a CEO, entrepreneur, high performer, executive that's 50 pounds overweight. As long as they're taking action, to me, I'm like, they're looking after themselves. Yeah. If they're making progress, I don't care where they're at or what they're doing, but if they're taking action on their goals, cool, brilliant. They had to go through that point. So I don't want anyone to like listen back to this and be like, oh, you have to be here. Yeah. It's never about where you are, it's about where you're going. Yeah. But if your mentality is like, well, I don't need to do that bit, that's like on you.
Mindset. Yeah. How did you get into this line of work?
How long would it start?
Yeah, like, what was like your pivotal moment that you're like, okay, well, for me to be a high achiever in this area, I need to focus on me and I need to focus on like the mentality that you mentioned, like your physical health and everything like that?
I would say I've been a coach for 8.5 years, but I would really say it began for me in like 2019, even though I started coaching in 2017. For the first 2 years, I wasn't really a business owner. I wasn't really like a high performance coach. I was probably a low performance coach. And like most coaches that start out, they don't actually really know how to look after themselves. Maybe they've consistently went to the gym for a bit. I'd came out of the military in 2017. And then when I came out, I knew I had to leave. And I'd been an instructor in the military for my last post that I was in. And, well, the one before that, sorry, I was in, what was it called again? I can't even remember the name of the actual, it's been that long. But anyway, and then I went on a few deployments where a few folk jumped in and trained with me, and I was like, oh, I'll become a coach, personal trainer, and more. That's the sort of direction I headed in. Then I done that, and I started to follow other people like that I really admired. Certain people like James Smith and Jay Alderton, who's a British, he's ex-military as well. He's now like a mentor and stuff in the British fitness space. He's actually like, he's quite worldwide. He's got a massive following. But yeah, so I started following these guys, and I was like, these are personal trainers. Like these are personal trainers with huge platforms, huge influences, like huge like brands. I'm like, how can I do that? And then I started kind of connecting the dots. That's when I started getting into like listening to podcasts and stuff. And there was like a particular point in 2019 where I got threatened in the gym that I worked in. Like, so Scotland, the area that I worked in, Kilmarnock, is quite a rough area. So I moved back to Scotland after I left the military, and then that was a big commercial facility there. It had like 6,000 members, so that's why I went there. And but it's full of like, you know, gyms can be like commercial facilities that they can attract a certain clientele, let's say. There was a mix. There was the High Court judge of the Scottish High Court went to that gym, and there was also a guy that went to the gym that was an ex-convicted murderer. That's the span of people that were in that gym. Yeah. Like, it's crazy. And this guy was like he chopped someone up. He served like 30 years or something, right? Mental, right? Yeah. So like it was a vast array of people in this gym. There's over 6,000 members, right? Think of like it's crazy. Like that's like gyms, by the way, like 6,000 members, probably 3,000 active. Yeah. Right? Gyms rely on having ghost members. People that just pay memberships and don't actually go. So some gyms in like London and stuff are like 10,000 members, 15,000 members and stuff. Wow, it's insane. Yeah, crazy. So these I went there, and then this guy like threatened me, like, and it was just a turning point. I was like, I got threatened in work today. Like, what am I doing? And then my mate Andy was he was doing really well, and then he had like a mentor and stuff, and I was like, my brain was just going, I need one of them. Yeah. Like, I need like this guy that you pay him and he helps you, and I didn't really understand it, but I kind of got it. I was like, well, I need to do that because I need out here. Then Andy's like, yeah, I'll just help you, and I was like, cool mate, I'll just pay you, and then you can help me. And we started working together in like the January, because this was around like this was like November, December this happened, and it was after the Christmas holidays, and then we started. And then the pandemic happened, but he gave me this early warning. He's like, mate, the country's going to go into lockdown, we need to shift and make an online offer, and we done it. And it just opened my eyes up to like the impact that you could have around the pandemic and stuff. I started my podcast, like I started like getting better results with clients, like, and then that kind of sent me down a path to then working with more people. And then in 2021 was probably like a huge life-changing moment for me, because I joined a mentorship that had a lot of like really big names in it, like within the space, not even famous, but like really very good coaches. And that's when I started working with getting help from like really good coaches, like what I do now. And I was like getting inside their business and obviously getting their help and being like, this is a different level. Yeah. But then the common denominator I always seen was like, these guys live and breathe what they do, not just with their training. Because at this point I was an Ironman, like I'd done all these things, I'd served in the military, I'd done 24-hour endurance challenges, but I was like, I don't believe I've achieved peak performance in my lifestyle as well. I feel like I'm good at achieving peak performance within my training. Yeah. And even at that, I wasn't. I was nowhere near it, because there was so many areas that I was still falling short on. And like, that's when I really started like kind of pursuing the full sort of like high performance sort of lifestyle more and more. And then that's when I started taking myself even more seriously. And then sort of the rest is history. And then like really, really focus on building a brand and life around that, and just being that person, because it's who I always admired. If I go back to my days in the military, I always admired the PTIs, because I just felt like, just I don't know, when I joined when I was 17, and I always remember like seeing their uniform. It was different from everyone else's. Like I wasn't fit when I was 17. I was quite weak, and like I was a bit weedy. That I'd have loved to have done something like that, but I just wasn't fit enough. Yeah. And I always admired that. And it was the thing that I admired was like how you could be a leader and be an influence like that. So for me, it's like that's what I see like Ready for Anything as. It's like you're teaching folk how to be that man or woman in their life who is the leader, who's the person that's like the lighthouse, where folk can just rely on them and be like, right, you're dependable, you're reliable.
Yeah, I love that you just touched on that as well, a leader of your life. And because like people go, oh, I need to be at a particular level, or I need to be a leader, or whatever it is, until then I can work with a coach, or then I'll, get a mentor or something like that. And it's like, no, you need to be a master of your own life first, and then it has the ripple effect out into all areas of life. Because if you're not taking care of yourself and you're not being self-led, and it's like, who are you when there's no camera, or you're not at work, or behind the scenes? Who are you then? How do you lead yourself then? Like, what are those qualities of that particular person, and are you proud of them at the same time? And if you're not, then you need to be self-led first, and then you can show up in all areas of life as well.
Yeah, that's what you really start seeing. Like, when people come into our program, and it's like, I say to some people, I'm going to brainwash you. Because you're going to get brainwashed. You're just going to get this inertia effect of constantly being in this environment and space, and it's going to just make you level up. And for some people, you can see their eyes lighting up like Christmas trees, and they just get it. And then for some people, there's like a delay. But they need to be in that inertia effect, because like, people say things to me like, you told me that like 6 months ago and I never knew what it meant. Now I know what it means. Like, people say things like that to you, and it's because everything's delayed. But for some people, it like lands right away because they're ready to receive it. But for other people, they're kind of looking at you a bit like, well, I don't really get what you're saying right now, but I'm going to trust you. Like, I kind of get it. And then they tell you later, like, I get what you mean now.
Well, you pick up different parts of information when you're ready to hear them at the same time, right? Like, there's some things, like, even now, although I've been in this space now for quite a few years, and you're like, oh, that lands a different way. Okay, now I can relay it in a different way at the same time, right? And because, like, you know, you weren't ready to receive that piece of information at that time. And like, if you think about how many bits of information our brain processes in any given minute, you know, you're not going to be able to take in all the pieces of information at the same time. So, you receive things when you're ready. What, so you mentioned about your business Ready for Anything at the same time. So is that based on, like you say, focus on the life? Is that right? So like, more so you holistically look at somebody's life and going, okay, what areas do you need to improve on? Or is there a main key pillar?
So we've got 3 phases that we take our clients through: infancy, growth, and maturity. And then when anyone comes in, generally speaking, that most people will be in infancy when they come in. And we base that on like a few different things. So we base it on, obviously, lifestyle, habits, behaviours, like where they're at with their physique and performance, and then where they're at with their mindset, like what's their outlook like. And then what we're just trying to do is improve all those 3 areas simultaneously. We are a performance-driven program, so training's always going to be the backbone of it. But that's not to say that we've got clients that train 3 days a week. We've got clients that train 12 hours a week. It's like completely 2 totally different things. So it's down to what the person wants. Naturally, because of our personal brand and what we push, it does attract people that like that are maybe already kind of doing the do there. They've got certain ambitions like we do, so it does attract a certain type of person. But at the same time, I want to push more now and just like really focus a lot more on just helping people that maybe don't have the exact same desires as me when it comes to training, but they want to have that relentless mindset and build that discipline into their life as well. So it's massively built around discipline. It's massively built around like high performance in every aspect of your life, and being the person. Like we talk about the mentality. You need to do what you said you were going to do. That's like our mantra. You need to do it, because a lot of people are just breaking so much trust for themselves. And then naturally, with that pathway in place, because we are like specialists when it comes to sports performance, like physique, helping folk get there, that will then naturally make someone go, right, because folk will come in and they'll say things like, I'm not bothered about that right now. I'm like, stop telling me what you're not bothered about.
Start telling me you are.
Like, tell me what you are bothered about. And just have an open mind. Have an open mind, because, and then what happens is that we focus on where they're at, what they need, because some people can come in and they could be a couple of degrees off. And then some people come in and you're like, man, we need to strip things back to basics right now, because this is a bit of a bomb scare. You know what I mean? Like, and that's where someone's at. But with our sort of process and what we do, like that infancy, growth, and maturity. Infancy, if we were to look at someone that's an infant client, they are someone that's easily led. Someone that has a lot of limiting beliefs around food, lifestyle, themselves. It's someone that's at a point where they lack a lot of consistency and discipline within their life, and that's what would be like an infant client right there. Now, everyone comes in as an infant, because even if you don't miss with your training, there's some, like, a lot of folk like wear rose tinted glasses where they're like relentless with their training, but their nutrition behaviours are atrocious. So like, we measure it across every aspect, so we don't let there's no egos. Like, I'll tell folk where they're at, and then we assess where they're at and what they're going through. And then growth is where someone can come in straight as growth as well. We have clients come straight in as growth clients because of their traits and characteristics. They might be just a few degrees off. And that's starting to be where like they're a bit more self-aware and conscious. So they're starting to bring a lot more things to the forefront. The level of conversation that they're having is one of the biggest ones. Because if someone's got low levels of self-awareness, we'll probably be asking lots of the questions.
Yeah.
Whereas if someone's got higher levels of self-awareness, they'll be a lot more curious. And we get a lot of people that come in like that as well.
Yeah.
And then that's our goal, is to get someone to there. So we're building them up physically, but we're also actually elevating their state of consciousness as well. So they're not someone that's just drifting through life.
Yeah, which is important, right?
Yeah, massively. They need to be someone that's very conscious, getting after it. And then when they're in growth, they're going to be pushing good results. That's where we really start to see them being very, very independent. And then a mature client is someone that's like the high performer. Is someone that's like very, very self-led. And we've got quite a few clients that are obviously there. And then we've had clients, like some of the stuff we've had clients get to and go to is unbelievable. Clients overcome bad periods of like depression. Clients break through like eating disorders, overcame eating disorders. Clients qualifying for world championships in sport and achieving times that are like 0.01% and stuff. Like, we can get you to there. Like, we've got a blueprint that shows people how to do it. It's not to say that you have to do exactly that, but like if you follow our method and you come through,
follow the plan, right?
Follow the plan, man.
Yeah,
it's
always.
like, and people like, because we have like such a framework in place, and we talk about the same things, we talk about our model, we talk about this all the time, we have our blueprint there. Like, if people just stay course, they just get brainwashed into doing it. You know what I mean? They start saying things that we say and doing, and then it's like before they know it, they're like, oh, like this is my life. Like, it's crazy, man. And then that starts affecting their business, how they show up. We get clients' messages all the time, like, I've just taken this promotion. Like, I've just started this business. Like, I'm deciding I'm going to move my entire business online. I'm going to, because of the massive action they're taking within themselves.
Yeah, map it across.
Yep, that's it, man. So it just starts oozing like into there, because where we're at is a direct correlation to the beliefs that we have about ourselves. Like, I had this conversation because I've got a higher tier now. I've got a program called RTL, which is I help business owners as well, but with like marketing, like their offer, refining things in online, specifically handful of coaches I'm working with right now. And I was like, your level of income and your amount of clients, do you all have a number that you get to and you stick at? And everyone was like, yeah. I was like, that's not happened by accident, by the way. Like, you've got to that point because of certain beliefs that you have that you need to crush. Like, that's what needs to change. Like, people are like, they just need a new strategy. I just need this. That's like, no. You are there and you float around that same point because of your belief system. Like, because of your relationship with money, what you believe you're capable of doing. Like, all these things, is like, it's not a magic number that you've just by chance got to. It is because of who you are and how you see the world. And you need to change that.
Your biggest limitation is yourself, and this is what I talk about all the time as well with my clients as well. It's like not about the what, it's about the who. And you'll only grow to the level of you grow the who. And so people so much focus on like, okay, what do I need to do? What's the strategy? Like, they look at the next big thing, right? However, it's like, okay, well, who is the identity of the person that actually can achieve that? How can you show up as that person right now? Because until you do, then you've already capped yourself, or you've got that limitation or the glass ceiling or whatever phrase that you want to attach to that at the same time. You need to focus on expanding who you are energetically, so then you can call more in. We speak, I'm going to say we speak, but like we both went to a retreat, a business retreat a couple of weeks ago, and I feel like a common theme. So there was like in the room, just to give you a little bit of context for the listeners, there were people from the beginning to quite well-established business owners, right? And there was such a common theme around limiting beliefs. I don't know if you picked up on that at the same time, right? So how do you overcome, how do you know if your belief system is actually limiting you, and how do you overcome that?
You have to humour the fact that you have one. Like, because sometimes people don't. And that's what I say to people all the time. Like, you just humour the fact that like you've never been to this level that you're striving to get to, and humour the fact that you have you see the world a certain way that's either going to help you or limit you. And a lot of folk don't humour that, and they try and make it about something else. And then what I say to people is like, if it was that simple, then everyone would be doing it. Like, if it was just as simple of implementing a strategy and then doing it and being like, right, when's this going to work? You would do it. Like, it would just happen. It doesn't work like that. So I think the first thing for a lot of people is they don't accept that. And a lot of people have this understanding that things are going to be hard. But actually the thing that's always hard is never the thing that they think is going to be hard. It's usually something else, and 9 times out of 10, it's the way that they're reacting to a problem. It's how they can't deal with something. And you have to then realise that for what it is, and then go, right, what's the skill that I am deficient in? Is it my hiring process? Is it my leadership? Is it how proactive or reactive I am to certain situations? Is it that I need to stop taking X, Y, or Z so personally? Because that's the very thing that's holding me back right now.
Yeah.
Is it that I need to stop imposing beliefs on my pricing that I can clearly tell have came down from my parents, but I'm not acknowledging that for what it is, and I believe that no one's going to pay that? It's like there's always going to be something, but you need to sit with that resistance and be like, what's the story that I'm currently telling myself right now that needs to be reframed or changed?
Yeah, every belief is limiting, right?
Yeah. And it's easy to sit and talk about this because I've got them right now with things that I'm doing. Like one of the biggest ones right now is like even hiring. The hiring process is one of the biggest things for me, like having a sales team, having people do things for me. And it's like, I've made a few hires this year, but in reality I've made 4 hires that didn't really go that well. 4. Yeah. I mean, it's not actually a lot when you make it, and then actually when you look at this typical role I'm trying to get, it's got a really high turnover rate. So the fact, like, I need to just get out my own way and realise that that's part of it, and I need to hire better. It's me. But whereas I could just go, this doesn't work. This doesn't work.
But then it's a learning process, right? So if we use that as an example, like if you hadn't hired someone in the past, then you would have like gone, okay, well, here for me to do that, I need to step outside my comfort zone. So I need to do something new for the first time, right? And then like, are you always going to get that right? Probably not, but it's all learning, right? It's all data and feedback for you as well. So then you can make a new decision. And then once you've hired the first one, you're like, okay, cool, I can do this. And then like, once you get that process down pat, then you can progress on to the next one. Actually, Stephen Bartlett, he's really good at this. I don't know if you follow him or you're a big fan.
I just watched the Cadence one on like the company, the electrolyte company Cadence.
No.
So I just watched Behind the Diary yesterday. Have you watched Behind the Diary?
No, I haven't watched that yet. Okay.
So he spoke all like there was a clip in it. It was actually talking about hiring.
Yeah, because he spends most of his time hiring. That's all he does.
So he gets in at night and he sits for 2 hours. And he just goes on to LinkedIn and he just hires.
Yeah.
And it's, you see, I always remember there was an Alex Hormozi video, and it was just I don't know how that guy puts words that he does into clips in like 30 seconds. And he says he hired a new creative director or something like that, right? Let's say it was that, I can't remember the exact title. And he sat down, I think it was on Zoom, and he said, right, what projects are we going to work on? And he says, the guy opened them up, and he says, right, we've got this. He went, right, let's start on that one. And he says, they sat the entire day and worked 9 hours and worked their way through the full project. And then he said, cool, what's next?
Yeah.
And he says, in that moment, he's seen the guy's eyes unfold about what actually working hard actually is.
Yeah.
And it's not until you actually spend time with someone else that's doing the thing that you are doing that you actually realise what's required to get the outcome.
Yeah.
So people would go, oh, Stephen Bartlett's sitting there in his multi-million-dollar villa in like the LA hills. It's like, nah, you don't see that guy gets in at like 8 p.m. at night and sits for 2 hours every night on LinkedIn looking for staff. Yeah. Like, I think you always get to this point where you think it's going to get easier. Like, you could slow down at that point, but it's not to say that you need to do that. I don't want anyone to think, but like, people are always moaning about growth. And the question that I've been saying to some of my guys in RTL is, do you deserve what you want right now for the level of what you're putting in? So like, folk, I just need more leads. Does your marketing and what you're putting out to the world deserve more leads? Yeah. And they're like, no. I'm like,
that's such a really great point that I want to go into a little bit more. Like if you speak, you spoke about Alex Hormozi, and if you see his content, like he produces like an insane amount of content to reach the level of success that he's got. People are like, I aspire to be him. Great. Are you doing the same things as him? And it's like saying like if you're in a career that you don't like, and then you look at somebody else who's creating a business or starting from scratch, great. What did they do to get there? Are you doing the same things? Because you can't look at somebody else and go, I want their life, without actually doing the same thing as them. Because if you do have the same output, you're going to get the same results. Yep. And it's like, it's such an interesting concept, I think, for so many, where they're like, oh, that's lucky for them, or I wish I could do that. Well, you can. You just have to fucking do the same stuff. Yeah.
A lot of people as well, when they're starting a business or starting out, they don't understand what needle-moving tasks are. Yeah. Because they're so programmed to be paid to do everything. Yeah. So then they're like, I've done work today. I'm like, no, you've done work for a client. Yeah. Like, that's like 50% of what you do. Like, what else have you done?
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, like, I've not done anything else. It's like, well, you need to do things that's going to generate momentum. But because people are so programmed to be paid, they're so like, but I'm not going to do that. Because it makes them feel uncomfortable, and then they know there's no return on it, but they don't realise that they need to develop that skill.
Yeah.
And they're just work shy. That's what it is. They're just work shy because they're so programmed to be paid by the hour or paid by someone else that
paid
they're like,
for time.
Exactly. So they think time equals money.
Yeah.
But it's like, no, like time equals momentum.
Yeah.
For whatever you're doing, and a lot of folk get in their own way with that, where they're like, I've done this, I've done that. I'm like, I would like to think you've done that. Like, I say this to clients where they'll say things to me like, oh, like I had this week, I've not heard from them in days, and I've clearly not been doing things, and I know something's off, and then they tell me something about training. I'm like, we've been working together for a year. I would like to think that you hit your training. What else have you done? Yeah. And then they're like, do you want to, like, I would say, do you want a Blue Peter badge? Do you remember what Blue Peter was in the UK? It was a program, and you got a badge when you done something good. And I'd be like, do you want a Blue Peter badge? Like, because it's like, that's a given. Like, I would expect that you're doing that. It's the same in like business. People are like, yeah, I had a big week. What did you do? I served clients. That's not a big week. Yeah. That's a given.
That's the delivery. What about everything else that goes before that?
What else did you do? And then people are like, oh, nothing. I'm like, well, you're not going to get anything back. Like, you need to put more effort and you need to put more work in. Same with like your physical results. It's like, I've been to the gym. I'm like, that's level 1, mate. Yeah. Like, what else are you doing?
Have the intention behind it at the same time.
What's your routines like? What's your behaviours like? What's your mindset work like? What's your attitude like, generally speaking? Tell me a bit about what's happening. Folk are like, training. You're like, it's like 1% of your week. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like, it's actually such a small part of your week when you break it down, like going to the gym.
Yeah. It's interesting. So everything comes back to conditioning and programming, right? And I left corporate only in December. Like, I was building my business while I was still in corporate and then full-time in my business now. And I took for granted how much time it would take me to unlearn so much of that. And especially when it came time versus money at the same time. And it's like, you know, when you go to work, you've got your KPIs and things that you need to achieve, but you're there for a set period of time at the same time, right? And you're not, like, well, depending where you work and everything along those lines. But, you know, yes, you might have peaks and troughs throughout that time where you are required to work more hours, but generally that's it, right? Then you go home. There's no risk on you, I guess, from a business perspective. When you work for yourself, it's like you have all of this space and there's no 9 to 5 anymore. So it's like you have to lose the identity of that person to be able to then step into the identity of a business owner, the identity of a director, the identity of a CEO. And it's so different because, like, you've had conditioning for your whole entire life, and now you've got to unlearn all of that programming to step into the new identity. And I think people forget about that when they're going through change or they want a different life or something along those lines. It's unlearning a lot of those behaviors and that patterns and the programs that are so ingrained in you from such a young age.
Yeah. One thing that I always remember when I was teaching Ailey, my fiance, about coaching, because she started coaching in 2021. Yeah. And no, 2022, sorry. And she's obviously I kind of like really took her under my wing and taught her, and I was like saying to her, like, if someone's been somewhere that's quite dark, like with their eating behaviours, with their physique, with their mental health, I was like, you need to remember that they've always got it in them to be that person. That's not a negative thing, that's just remembering that. So someone could be like flying, they've just came in, because we get that, because of the way that we support clients, like clients come in and they're blown away. Like, if they're ready to change, they're like, I can't believe how much this is changing my life, because we're supporting them with everything. We're the level of conversation, like the group calls that we're having, the education that's available, like the attention to detail with what they're going through, what they need, how we just know things that they don't even think that we're going to know about because we do our homework on everything. And they can fly high very quickly. I don't know if you've ever heard of the Dunning-Kruger effect. So Dunning-Kruger effect is the emotional cycle of change. So at the beginning, it's like uninformed optimism. So you're super high. We get clients get very high, and we get, especially guys do this a lot more than women. So I call them like we hype guys. So like we as in like a Scottish slang, but like a wee hype, they're like proper like a dog with two dicks. They're like proper buzzing, and like we need to like make sure they don't get too high, because like what happens is they then fall into the informed pessimism, and then they go down to what's known as the valley of despair. And that's the moment where a lot of folk always fall short, and they always like trip up, and it's about learning to help folk rewire the way they go through it. Because if someone's came from a really low point, they, as I said, they still have it in them. So if someone's had really bad behaviours around alcohol, really sabotaging and binge eating tendencies when it comes to food, which a lot of people struggle with, by the way. And this is what a lot of people like don't understand, is they don't even know they've got these traits and characteristics. They just think it's normal because of the wiring that they've had. So you need to be very careful with people when they're climbing high, because if you celebrate things too much with them and you don't, it becomes blind drive, where it can be quite dangerous to them. That can actually trip them up. So you need to really keep people grounded and not get too high in their own supply. That's one of the modules when people first come into the programs. I talk about this and show the full model. I'm like, don't get too high, because you can. People are like, it's crazy, because you only borrow your physique, you only borrow your health, you only borrow your mental health. I love this saying. Everything's borrowed, because it's only as good as your most recent action and behaviours. And even this week for me, like not training for like 6 days there, being ill, not getting loads done, it's overwhelming. Like I'm like, oh, man, I feel like I'm climbing a mountain. I see myself in the mirror today, and by all means, I know it's not like I know I'm in pretty good shape and stuff, but like I'm not where I usually am, and I was like, it feels like a mountain to climb already. But to someone else that isn't as experienced, that has a lot of dark behaviours, they can go south very quickly. So someone can go from being like here to here like that, by the way. Like a couple of instances that could happen. They fall out with their partner, something happens to a pet. Like honestly, people can like turn like that. It's crazy, and they can fall very, very quickly. So when you believe you're further ahead than what you are, that's the most dangerous place that you can be in.
Well, we all have patterns, right? And we all have, like you mentioned, self-sabotage there as well. Even if you recognize that and then you go to the next level, if something happens, it's like that same, if you don't clock it early enough, or you don't recognize it and it's not in your conscious awareness, then you can have a repeat of the self-sabotaging pattern at that new level, and then the same again and again and again. So it's like being aware of what that core, I was going to say wound in a way, or like what's your flavor in a way, or how that comes out. If that's self-sabotaging patterns, then as you go through life, you have to clock that. Because, and recognize it in the moment as well. Do you find a lot of people self-sabotage when it comes to health and fitness? Yeah,
massively. It's very, like, people don't realise how hard it is to get really good results. Because we were working with people for, like, our average retention of a client right now is 14.5 months. Last time we measured it, it was a few months ago, to be honest. And because what you see is when it comes to, like, people going through transformations, you've got different types of coaches, right? So you could go to a coach who is like a personal trainer, where you just see them in the gym for 1 hour a week. You could go to a coach who is like very, very just physique focused, but to the point where they're like, you're almost robotic if you go and see them. You could come to a coach like us that's very, very multi-dimensional, very, very multifaceted, like ripping everything back to me. There's so many different things you could go to. On the surface, people will just see the results that someone produces, but then they never see the bit afterwards. Because we work with people for such a long period of time, we see every high and low, and it's crazy the amount of things that can happen in a week. So to get like that, in the last 2 weeks alone, we've had a client that's lost a father. We've had a client that's had a colleague that's been suicidal. We've had clients going through terrible mental health periods. We've had it's just in the last 2 weeks. Like we're working with like 47 people right now. Like it is impossible to not like. When people like set out to achieve something, everyone at the beginning is going like, I've got this on right now, so I can't do this. I'm like, and what I say to everyone is, see, if we were an 8-week shred, I would understand your logic. We're going to coach you to be better. We are delusional to believe that in a 1 year period, you're not going to have anything happen to you. But we need to teach you how to deal with those things in those moments that are going to allow you to rewire the way that you tackle it. So that really comes down to how much the person's going to allow themselves to be coached. But because of our marketing, our onboarding, our community, people are very open to like, people aren't one dimension with us. They aren't just training. And if they are, I slap it out of them. I'm like, stop talking to me just about training. I'm like, you need to tell me about what's happening, what's going on. And when they do that and they welcome it in, it becomes a huge crutch for their life. Because it helps them actually be resilient.
It's also like sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off then.
That's right.
It's also about having the tools and resources. Like you touched on such a great thing then, is that through life, you're going to have challenges, right?
Yeah.
Like so many challenges that are going to come up. That's life. You're going to lose people, like relationships, whatever it might be, careers, you know, you might move, whatever it is. You're always going to have obstacles in the way. That's life. That's the beauty of life and how we navigate that. When you do the work and work on your mindset, it's about having the tools and the resources to be able to help you move through that a lot faster than you probably would have previously, and know how to respond rather than react, or know how to take care of yourself and listen to your body rather than just constantly in the doing of it all and showing up, that potentially can lead to burnout as well. So it's about having the tools and the resources and the support network, how you said, like, so if someone's navigating a difficult time, they know they can call you or they can call whoever it is to say, hey, I need help here. And actually having the skills to be able to ask for support and help in that moment too. Yeah,
because we're only talking from experience as well. Like, because I don't think a lot of people like really get like what it takes to like see. There's a really good saying. It's show me your physique and I'll show you your mindset.
Yeah.
And it's people don't really. If you see someone that's in really good shape year round and they're running like quite a high functioning business or whatever, that's a resilient person.
Yeah.
Like that's a very, very robust person, because people just think, oh, they've been doing that for long, that's easy for them. And you're like, no, they're still going through all the highs and lows that you're going through.
They just show up.
Maybe even worse. Like on a weekly basis, probably going through what some people would experience in 6 months, what some people would experience like in 1 week.
Yeah.
With the highs and the lows and the things that happen, the challenges. I mean, it's crazy. And I don't think a lot of people just respect that. They don't really get that like, and everyone thinks their situation's different. They're like, no, but this happened, and I'm like, I get it, I understand it. I was like, but there's always going to be this thing in this story about this thing that happened. I'm not telling you to be out there David Goggins like getting after it, like, but show up for yourself. Like, stop doing this little narrative. Like, stop doing what your mum told you to do when you were 10 years old, when you got sick. Like, you're behaving like a child. Like, people are just so childlike when it comes to anything happening. And there's a really interesting psychological model called the parent-child-adult model, and it's this idea that like when we coach, we need to not flick into the parent. We need to be the adult at all times, because I can hear it in clients' tonality when they become the child. Like they become a child, like when something happens or something's unfair or whatever. And if I go in with this like adult, like parent like mentality of no, you needed to do this, they'll revert into the child and continue acting like them in their behaviours. Although they're a fully grown adult, they will act like a child. They'll act like it with their eating behaviours, their sabotaging behaviours, their mentality, their mindset towards like not taking responsibility. They will go into a child. So it's like you have to remain the adult at all times, because they will remain an adult. And like there is times you have to be like, folks, shut up, like stop being a dafty, like you're being a nugget right now. But you have to, because everyone will fall into the child mindset if you let them, especially when it comes to things not going to plan for them. There's probably a lot of folk will hear that and they'll be like, like I do it as well. Like,
I feel like we're all guilty of it at some stage, right? Like, you know, just going, I don't feel like it, rather than going, okay, well, I was meant to do ABC, or stick to the plan, not the feeling, right? Like that's so key, and a lot of people, business people, say that as well. Discipline, like you mentioned discipline before, and it's key. How do you build discipline and build that self-trust and confidence to follow through, and how do you stick to the plan, not the feeling?
So you have to recognize discipline for what it actually is. Discipline's being able to do something every single day without fail, regardless of how you feel. That's what discipline actually is. Where discipline is actually found, believe it or not, is in the things that most people don't actually see is that important. It's the commitment to being a person and saying that you're going to do something. It's about building trust and belief up in yourself, and it's about doing what you said you were going to do. That's what discipline is. A lot of folk don't have discipline because they're constantly breaking trust with themselves, micro doing it all the time. So they're doing it in like daily behaviours. you build the most resilience in the little micro things. So hitting your water every single day, like filling in your app that you do for it, like waking up at a similar sort of time, like getting up and doing your routine every single morning, not touching your phone for the first hour of the day or whatever that is, right? If you do these things consistently, you will fill up your resilience and discipline bucket. And then when it comes to you actually having to use it in the big times, you'll have a full bucket full of the stuff that you're like, I can do this now, this is no problem to just get through this really tough workout. Because everyone thinks that discipline is actually in the really hard things. You build it in the tiny things that you do all the time, which actually become part of who you are, that you become very proud of. And where I really learned this was when I trained for the Keltman Extreme Triathlon in 2023. And I'd done an Ironman before, and this is like an Ironman's big brother. And I was like, right, this is going to be hard. It's in really cold conditions. And I was like, I need to go up a gear because I was already mentally tough. I'd already done these things, but this is like one of the hardest things in the world. I need to go, like, this is like, I actually looked it up, it's 0.01%. That's what it's like of the population would even do something like that. 0.01.
Yeah, wow.
It's like crazy, like so minute. It's not even like 1%. It's
well,
like,
it's even like running a 5K, isn't it? Like, you know,
it's crazy, yeah.
You know,
Most people don't hit 4,000 steps in a day.
Yeah.
That's insane. Don't even hit 4,000 steps. Don't even walk. And then folk are like, I'm going to run. I'm like, no, walk. Like, you need to walk. So it's crazy, like, where people just are literally trying to run before they can walk. So yeah, it's mad, and I knew it was going to take me a lot, and I got that was when the Lumi phase was going really big. Remember the ice baths? Yeah, so there was a big one in the UK called Lumi, and it really blew up. The company went massive. Like, I think they went like international, like huge. And I got one of them, and I was like, I'm going to just do this every morning, because the Keltman had this really cold swim in it, and I was like, it's like 6 degrees Celsius, so it's like really, really cold, the water. Cold. Yeah, and it's like nearly the coldest water can get. And it's an open lock, it's full of jellyfish. I was like, I need to condition myself to be like mentally tough for this. And every morning I got out and I'd done 3 minutes for it every morning. I'd done that every morning. But I remember there was like an initial point that was like so overwhelming, and then I remember like getting to this point where like I became so empowered by actually doing the act of doing it every day. I'm not saying that you need to do this, but I learned through committing to a process and doing it every day, just like I've done for this routine that I've done every morning, that I'm empowering myself by doing this thing that isn't actually a lot, but that daily action of doing that in microdoses all the time starts to make you value it. And it's like when you learn a new skill, if you're hiring someone, if you're learning to copyright, if you're learning to speak on camera, you understand the process of doing the reps. You're like, if I just do this, I remember when I learned to swim, I said to the guy, how long would this take if I swim twice a week every week? And he's like, 3 months. Yeah. And I remember just hating it, and it was around the sort of like, it was around about 16 weeks, it just clicked. Yeah. And I remember being like, trust. And when you have that level of discipline and belief, like, you can put your mind to anything. Yeah. You can put your mind to anything that you want to do.
For listeners listening to this episode, what would be some of the key takeaways that you want to make sure that lands for them today?
Yeah. I think the key takeaway that I want, the big one, is I want people to not rhyme off a list of reasons as to why it's not applicable to them. That's the first thing that most folk do, especially if they're tuning into something else. They're looking for reasons. Stop looking for differences and start looking for similarities. Start looking for similarities in what you do and what you struggle with. Because so many folk are good at picking out the can'ts right away, and they're just adopting this mindset that they don't even realise is just trying to protect them from not taking action and changing on their goals. Like, people interpret information so differently. I wrote a post the other week on social media, and some girl messaged me about it, and it was actually outrageous what she wrote, and it wasn't even what the post was about, but it was how she read it. Yeah. It's crazy. Like, what she read it as, it was shocking what she said to me. Like, started bringing up someone that died, and how I was like, what? Because I said something about being a hypochondriac. Like, when I used to drink and take drugs a lot, mom would get sick, and I'd be like, oh, mom's got cancer. And she took that as, like, people are dying of cancer, fitness isn't going to fix cancer. And I'm like, what did you read there? Yeah. So the point I'm trying to get at is, like, some people can be so wrapped up in their own mind protection. Yeah. And they can be in a bad state of mind. Chances are, if they're reading it, watching this podcast right now, they're not going to be in a bad state of mind if they're taking the time to do it. But stop looking for differences and start looking for similarities. Yeah. That's the first thing I would really say. And then the second one would be kind of tying into that again, but just humouring the fact that it's going to help them. Just, they don't have to know exactly. People are like, how will this help my business? How will this help my productivity? Like, keep an open mind and just do the work and understand that there's a reason that people do this. There's a reason.
Yeah.
And I think that's it's not necessarily do this or do that. It's more to do with, because I know that people like, they just look for, I have conversations with folks sometimes. I give presentations and I talk to someone afterwards. I'm like, how did you take that away from that? I'm like, yeah, but I don't do this. And you're like, if your first instinct, if you listen to a presentation or watch a podcast and your only takeaway is how it's not applicable to you, big red flags.
Yeah.
Huge red flags.
It's like any time that someone says, I'm not like them, you're most like them. And to lean into that as well. Because like there's, whether you're triggered by them, she was obviously triggered by your post and then she projected on you, like that lady that responded to you, rather than going, okay, what's this reflecting back to me right now? Because like if you say it's not for you, then it's actually most applicable in whatever area of life that might be. Might not necessarily be in fitness, but it will show up in somewhere else. So be open and curious about everything.
I think now you just look at, you go and look at the comments on things in Instagram and you're like, why is someone taking the time out of their day to do that? And it's just like, it's actually funny because the people are so wrapped up in their own way that they don't even realise that like it's just such a projection of how their mind is. They're like how they're feeling in that moment, what they're doing. Like, it's crazy. Like,
self-awareness, right? Is like what you're seeing in somebody else. It's a mirror for you. So if you're being triggered, or if you've got like an activation within you, then rather than feeling the need to respond to someone that you don't even know, actually sit with yourself and going, okay, how is this me? What is this reflecting? Because it's going to take you down a totally different path, and you're going to learn something new about yourself that you might not necessarily have known or uncovered without that person reflecting that for you. Well, thank you so much for chatting. Love the conversation awesome. And the direction that it went. And yes, I appreciate your time.
Thank you so much. Cool. And thank you. I hope everyone enjoyed it that was obviously watching as well. And no, thanks so much for having me on.
Appreciate it.